Alright, just because I said I'm not going to be playing this game for a while does not mean that I'm going to stop making videos about it, because, I still feel like that I need to bitch about this game some more, because there's been some things I've wanted to say about this game for a while, I just never have. So, I have a bit on my streams, but people don't fucking watch me to, fucking bitch about the game, so I usually that's when I was actually motivated to play it. Now I'm not. So we're here to talk about maps, and is it possible to camp on all of the maps? Which, yes, it is. Yes, it is. You can camp on every map in this whole game. You can camp all of them. Let's take a look at all the maps. And by the way, I don't want to hear no fucking bullshit that people in AT don't camp, Death Watch doesn't camp. All of you fucking camp. All of you do. Because you're fucking too garbage at this game, or frankly, you don't want to get good in the way that I got good, so you just play it in the safe and easy way, and the only reason why there's never been a 4v4 live stream of somebody trying to out camping you is because no one has the willpower or the patience to out camp campers. Believe me, I know a group out there that I used to play with all the time that would make everybody's lives miserable on this game as Darkside. I swear to God, if they ever caught anybody trying to camp ever, they do the same shit. They would sit there all game, just sit right there, and they will not move until you get out of your camping spot. And you fuckers better be thankful that there aren't people like that still on this game. They're on Battlefront 2 putting in some work instead, while you guys are staying on this game and milking it for whatever it's worth, although there's really not much to really milk, and yet here am I angrily, bitterly bitching about how garbage the maps are in this game. So here we are. Every single one of these maps you can camp on. But which ones are the worst ones? That's what we're going to talk about. Which ones force you to camp? Force you. It's not in the player's control, because the game gives one side an artificial advantage that is so powerful that you have to do it. This is not just you aren't good enough to do it, it's the game puts you at such a massive disadvantage that you either have to compensate for that for skill, or you do it. In which case, there's only one group who compensates it with skill, which is my group. No one else does that. So everybody else camps. So let's talk about it. Now, I'm not including all the Outer Rim maps, because all the Outer Rim maps are very, very bad. All of them are bad. All of them are terrible. All of them are dog shit. And no one in my comment section, I swear to fucking God, if I see some bullshit defending these goddamn maps, I'm deleting your fucking comments. I'm not dealing with it. That is... I cannot understand how you defend spawn in the camping spot, 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 and then, oh look, if you're facing AT or any of them, and they're on fucking light side, they're camping their spawn! So tell me if it's a good map now, huh? Tell me it's a good map when they sit on top of pipelines on the little ass rocks as dark side, or they don't move, or as light side they spawn into the little ass room in there and they don't move. Tell me that Java's Palace is a good map when Lightside camps a fucking hallway all game. Tell me if Palace garages are good when people camp the pipe section on that map all fucking game and don't move. And I don't remember Source Sub-Refinery enough to bitch about that, but I guarantee that's shit too. Actually, no, I do remember that map. There are a few camping spots in that map too, which people would abuse the fuck out of. So any place where you can just sit there and not do anything. These maps, you either spawn in it, or they're so close in proximity, you just walk over there and then just fucking sit there. Like you're waiting for a goddamn pizza delivery. You don't have to move because you just go here, sit here. I have an overpowered character who beats every single character except Darth Vader, and I have other characters who also destroy Vader, who also just gank up on top of him and he can't fucking do anything. So, good luck fighting that. Rant over. Let's talk about the really shitty maps I am making this video for. First is Rebel Depot. Rebel Depot, I think, is one of the few maps I have ever seen where light side actually has an advantage in the early game. And now, and I originally thought this was a really good dark side map, but after playing Lando a lot and realizing that Lando can just immediately obliterate somebody's health in the early game, and the fact that if Chewbacca and Luke get on top of the ship and Lando manages to chip somebody who is an Emperor at the beginning of the game while disrupting Emperor, the game ends right there. You should win. You should win. So what I've seen a lot is the Imperials, if they cannot make the initial push, or they are not able to deal with the fact that Lando is really good in the early game, they'll sit in their spawn. I cannot tell you how many times I have played BW, I played Coiler, I played Prado, I've played Lab, and they were forced to camp their spawn as Imperials just because they couldn't handle Lando. And there's a way to deal with him. It's called fucking using Scam Pulse, or better yet, use personal shields and body block your fucking characters, you clowns. You don't need to run. Oh, I shouldn't be telling people this. There are strategies that you can use. The really creative strategies. And yet, these complacent fucks will insist that we can't deal with Lando, so we have to camp our spawn until the rebels conveniently move out of the middle so then we can push. That's the only time I've ever seen Imperials push on this map, is when the rebels allow them to. If you don't allow them to get offensive pressure, they're never going to move out of their spawns. And let me tell you, the only flaw that my group has is that they do not have the patience that I have. I would be so willing to sit there for 2 to 3 hours just camping there. No fighting, you have to push on me. You want to fucking camp? I could do that too. And believe me, no one would play this game if we did that. No one would. No one would. But I'm just saying, this map, for both sides, and then we're just talking about dark side, right? And the fact that people are incapable of dealing with Lando because people are stupid and they're shit at this game even though they claim to be good. And then we look at the opposite side of the spectrum. For rebels who aren't good enough to play offensively, guess what, guys? You don't need to do that. You spawn in a camping spot. So, don't even go outside. Just Chewbacca, you sit in this corner, Lando, you sit in another corner, and Luke, you hide behind a little control panel, and then we just sit here and don't play until they come to us. Because guess what? EA decided to add a character who enables rebels to camp in this way, and we spawn into a camping spot. Isn't that glorious, guys? Oh, and it's a small-ass map, too. That also has a billion other camping spots, but the spawns tend to be the best ones. Right? This map is shit. It's shit. And embodies everything that is wrong with this game's player base. The fact that they have no innovation, no creativity, the fact that they if you were creative, you'd come up with creative strategies. You wouldn't have to do this. And because they resort to these strategies, this map becomes boring, garbage. Oh shit, I'm facing Darth Anakin. They get to camp their spawn, because guess what? They spawned in their camping spots. We're moving on. This map is garbage. the Millennium Falcon is the only reason why this map is good. The fact that there's some offensive play around the Falcon and the high ground there, only reason why it's good. Other than that, the fact that you spawn in a camping spot completely ruins it. We'll talk about number 4. Number 4 is Swamp Crash. Now, Swamp Crash can be good. It can be. I've had some really fun matches on Swamp Crash. There are 2 things that suck about this map. 1, Darkside will camp on this map. In fact, 90% of the time I've played this map, it is another map where, oh shit, we get to get away with doing this because so-and-so character benefits heavily from it. AKA, Boss gets to head glitch the ship all game, and he doesn't have to move. Oh, Palpatine can just camp a fucking tree, not move all game. Oh, we could go up in the treetops, have Chewbacca, Leia, Lando just sit there, and there's nothing you can do, and you have to come to them. And there's, like, no realistic way to chip them to death, except hope you get lucky power-up RNG, or play Boba Fett, and even then, Boba Fett's a huge risk, because Lando could just fucking ignore Boba Fett and just be like, oh, you still have a Vader? Let's chip him to death. Fuck the Boba Fett. This is why this map sucks right here. Again, all these maps suck for 2 reasons. Either they actually suck, or the way how people play them make them suck. This is one of these maps where the way people play them, this map makes it fucking garbage. It sucks playing this map against anybody who's good, and I say good in quotes because let's be fucking honest here. Yes, these are people who have beaten me, but honestly, I've gotten to the point where I don't give a shit. And I've kind of been at that point for months now, but I've been in awestruck amazement on just how stupid this community is, and how this community has such double standards. And this map right here proves it. People say we don't camp, yet you go to look at my live stream. What do you see on my live stream where T.O. Cake tried to snipe me on a null? And yeah, that was T.O. Cake. Nothing that anyone's gonna say is gonna convince me otherwise. So he tried to camp the ship as Bosk, despite the fact my whole team was dog shit, unable to defend themselves, and I had to scream at him in my chat to make him push. Now, this is the GOAT, and again, I'm using quotations. The GOAT was too scared to push on me, and I had to scream at him at my own chat for him to do that. And then when he did, he always got fucking annihilated every time he did. So I just want to put that out there. And yes, I was Lando, but he was also fucking Bosk, so give me a break. There are ways to play around Lando. If putting down your Dioxys and hiding behind a rock and jumping up and down is your strategy, I guess. Yeah, no wonder why you got destroyed by me several times in that stream. I mean, you won, but you beat my team. You didn't beat me. But anyway, that's Swamp Crash. Swamp Crash sucks because everyone wants it to suck. People, Empire camps the shit, basically. And then you have Light Side that camps the fucking the treehouse. Another map that is destroyed by the fact that this player base says that they don't camp, but they do it anyway. It's complete bullshit. Now, moving on to a map that actually does suck. Ice Caves. This map is fucking horseshit. This map is god-awful. It is terrible. Why? Because this is one of the only maps, besides another one we're going to talk about. Actually, these last few maps are what I like to call the triumvirate of evil. Ice Caves, Sulfur Fields, in Dune Sea Exchange. Maps that give the opponents massive advantages on one side by either giving them like an environmental advantage that is so huge certain characters benefit from it in a way that you can't defend against it, therefore you're forced to camp, or the map design is so bad that you have to camp no matter what. And there's only one map like that, but that's the worst one on this list, and we'll get to it in just a second. So why does Ice Caves suck? Well, I'll tell you why Ice Caves sucks. So, this map, when it first came out, was amazing, because of the way how people play it, it was interesting. People would fight in the caves, they would go to each other, there was none of this camping, keep away, boring bullshit that happened. There was no Chewie back then, there was no Bosk. Those two characters weren't in the game to make everything boring. But now we have those two characters in the game to make everything boring, and guess what? What do the rebels do? Oh, that's an enclosed area. Let's go run inside and sit there all game and not move. Oh, by the way, Lando Calrissian is also absolutely amazing on this map because he can just stealth around the ice tunnels, and the only way to combat that is if you have Scam Pulse, which is a legitimate strategy, by the way, but not too many people are willing to use Scam Pulse for just that character. And then you have the dark side, who gets the hill. Now, the hill wasn't that bad when this game came out, because you only had Boba Fett and Greedo and Dengar to take advantage of it. Dengar needs to get in close to do anything. Greedo sucks, and Boba Fett was a god-tier character. Then Bosk came out and ruined all of that, because what is Bosk really good at doing? Holding defensive positions, and then head glitching until you want to punch your fucking screen. The day that Bosk came out is the day when Ice Caves as a map was completely fucking ruined. Because now you have this character who would just sit up on his little perch, sit there, head glitch, in which there are two head glitches in that little spot where you can't hit Bosk, but he can hit you. It is actually impossible to hit Bosk there unless you have Leia. You can't do it as you can't, like, where you spawn, you cannot physically hit him unless if he messes up. So, and if he doesn't mess up, then you're getting heavily chipped. So what does this do? Because Bosk is just invincible in one place on the map, as the rebels, you have two options. You either try to beat the dark side at their own game and rush them, which is really, really risky. Not to mention that you have to rely on the dark side making mistakes in order to get any sort of momentum, and if they don't, you're screwed. So, you have to camp. Whether it's camp in the tunnels, or camp into the one spot to the left where you spawn, and you as the rebels are forced to camp because the game gives the dark side an artificial advantage. And all of that could have been avoided if the devs didn't put fucking Bosk in this game. Or they make him the way that they did. And also, you have Chewbacca, who just makes the light side really hard to deal with on defense. So, people just want to fucking camp anyway, because, well, good luck. Chewbacca indoors beats everybody but Vader. He even beats Vader if he has high trait, and if he has teammates. So, it comes really, really close, and either character is going to have no health at the end of it. So, yeah, not much more I need to say about that. This is a map that was ruined because of certain characters. There's not much the player base can do about this. This is just bullshit. Now we get down the sulfur fields. Now this is kind of like Ice Caves, a bit more extreme because a lot more characters take advantage of this. Because instead of spawning in an enclosed space, the rebels spawn in a open area which obviously that means Lando Calrissian, Nyanum, characters that really like open areas can take advantage of that. So, aside from the fact that the dark side will just absolutely dominate you if you even fathom the idea of going in the mid, if the dark side is good, and I'm talking, like, you don't have dog shit, like, fucking, I forgot his name, he changed his fucking name a few times. Is he even online, or did he delete me? No. I can't think. Composure. You don't have dog shit like Composure. You don't have dog shit like Darth Anakin. I'm talking about real players who will push and put in work, not people who sit behind rocks, push, and then get wrecked, and then get mad at people for taking healths. Not people like that. Actual players who put in work as dark side will destroy light side offense. How, you know what Coiler and them will do? If you as light side push, they will take characters like Darth Vader, zone you to death, and they will never attack. They will never attack. They'll just zone you to death, push back into their spawn, they will slowly withdraw, chip you to death, and then if board health RNG is on their side, or power-up RNG is on their side, you're fucked. And in which case, if you're facing Coiler anyway, you're fucked anyway, because I swear to God, they pull orbitals and other bullshit out of their ass every 2 seconds, so you have to camp. But thankfully for the light side, the spawn that you're forced to camp in is an excellent camping spot, for 2 reasons. One, Lando just gets 2 excellent little rocks that he gets to sit behind all game that has a massive coverage of every single angle the dark side can attack you on. Pretty much all angles, he will get a visual of where you're at, which is bullshit, because the whole thing about Lando is that he's actually supposed to take skill, and even though he's a broken character, he's supposed to take skill. Sulfur Fields kind of removes that, and I would argue that playing Lando and camping with Lando on Sulfur Fields is easier than it is to play Lando on Raider Camp, because I've outplayed a bunch of Landos on Raider Camp as Emperor, and 90% of the time it's because those Landos have backup in the form of, like, Han Solo or Luke to fucking bail them out if they ever misplay. Then on Sulfur Fields, you don't even need that. Put one part of your team on one side of the map, put Lando on the other. You don't even need to be good at defending yourself. You just sit there, and then Lando destroys your entire health bar, and there's nothing you can do. Because you can see everywhere you are, as long as you use your abilities correctly, and time your abilities well, then you're kind of fucked. He's a really hard character to deal with, and you'd think that Chewbacca's bad on this map. Nope, he can just camp behind the machinery and other bullshit, too. I've seen it happen, and I've also done it. It works. I've beaten Coiler by camping behind little-ass rocks with Chewie. Believe me, camping behind those little objects made the game really, really fucking easy for me. Like it does for the rest of this fucking community. Point being, yes, you do get an artificial advantage as a dark side. Rebels, realistically, if the dark side gets any sort of good RNG, you lose. And there's there's a lot of, like, power-up spawns. There's, like, 4 or 5 of them that they can just be like, oh shit, no, there's 4 of them. And then there's, like, 2 that you might be able to take advantage of if they don't have, like, a boss on their team. But if they have a boss, you're fucked anyway, because he's gonna take all the bullshit if the health didn't just spawn right on top of you, so you're fucked anyway. But that's the thing about this map. You're forced to camp as light side. The same reason why you're forced to camp on ice caves, you're forced to camp on this map. But it's worse because it's not because the dark side has such an overwhelming advantage that the light side can't do anything. No, in part, yes, they do have an overwhelming advantage, but your spawn is such a good camping spot that why would you ever move? Why would you ever move? You have Lando, Chewie, and other characters who could just sit there and not fucking do anything, never attack, never do anything, and they get rewarded for sitting in their spawn, not playing at all. Even though that you have the advantage, that advantage is taken away because guess what? Oh, well, I just get to sit in my fucking spawn and not move. Excellent gameplay! Moving on to the last map that we're going to talk about. Dune Sea Exchange is the worst map in existence. Not counting the Outer Rim maps, because all of them are terrible. All of them are terrible. Dune Sea Exchange takes what makes Sulfur Fields horrible, and what makes Ice Caves horrible, mashes them into a wizardly pot of fuck, and then you get Dune Sea Exchange. This disgusting, horrible map that exists for some reason. This is an Outer Rim map in disguise. That's what this is. Because all the Outer Rim maps, both sides spawn in a camping spot, basically. And yes, Darkseid can camp on Sulfur Fields. I've seen it fucking happen, unfortunately. But this is the map where I think I see Darkseid camp the most. And my god, it is depressing when it happens. So you have a map. Another map where the rebels spawn in open space, and guess what? They get to camp in it. There's no reason to move from your spawn if you spawn in an open area. Therefore, the rebels are just gonna fucking sit there and not move. But guess what? There's more! The Darkseid ain't going down without a fight, because guess what? They spawn in the camping spot too. And if they really want to, they'll just camp their scaffolding all game. I mean, sure, Yolando can make plays off of it. Sure, but that's about the only character that can get away with doing that shit besides Han Solo. And you're not picking Han Solo on this map. There's no reason to. I mean, you don't need to pick Chewie either. Realistically, you just need a Luke, you just need a Lando, and you just need a Leia. Sit in your spawn all game and not move, you're good to go. You don't need to do anything. But guess what? The Darkseid can do the same thing, because if you even think about moving out of your spawn for even a second, the Darkseid can just be like, well, they stopped camping. Let's just go camp and hide up on the ship, guys. And believe me, it happens a lot more than you think. I swear to God. How many, I can't count how many times I've seen their Emperor boss camp that fucking shit! Because I decided to get out of my spawn, and then they were like, well, they're out of their spawn, let's go camp ours. I cannot fathom how annoying and how pathetic this map is. And that's not even getting into the spawns. The spawns, I didn't go over them in Sulfur Fields, but the spawns in this map are pathetic. Because not only is the damn map amazing because the rebels spawn in the best camping spot ever, but the best camping spot ever also has a spawn that teleports people even if you're staring at the spawn. It'll just poop out fucking soldiers, even if you're staring at it. Don't believe me? Play Sulfur Fields while they're camping their spawn and stare at that soldier spawn. There will be soldiers that would just spawn there while you're looking at them. And if you're not looking at it, they will just keep coming and coming and coming. And oh, you think that ends with Dune Sea Exchange? Well, guess what? Dune Sea Exchange has the worst spawns in the whole game. Because not only is this a map that has the scaffolding camping spots, the Sarlacc camping spot, the million super rules that Lando could just use as a get-out-of-jail-free card and just camp those all game, while his Luke and his damned Leia bail him out all game. Oh, there's more, because not only do the Darkseid have their own camping spot, not only can they camp the sail barge, not only can they camp under or on the ship, the light side can camp under the ship too, and believe me, it's a spectacle when it's camp under the ship versus the people who are on the ship. It's really symbolic of what's going on in this game. But the spawns are some of the worst in this game. People will spawn literally directly behind you. I've had this happen where I've killed a soldier as Emperor or whoever, and then I go to turn around and some dipshit with an E4 just teleports in existence behind me. And this happens so often on this map that a lot of times the late game battle is surviving the regulars. It isn't the last hero and the last villain fighting each other out to see who can win. No, it's them trying to survive their own damn regulars and who gets on the lowest amount of health to take advantage of that. And who has the best RNG. It's whose soldiers get the most momentum of spawning on top of the hero or the villain, and who gets the luckiest board health spawn. That's all this map comes down to. And it's garbage. It's boring. It's infuriating. The fact that I ever have to watch Darkside camp in their spawn is pathetic. And playing light side offense and having to deal with Imperials who camp on a ship is one of the worst things I have ever had to do in a video game, period. Ever. 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 That's going to be the video for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, like it. Leave in the comments below what you guys want to see. I will be taking recommendations of what you guys want. And yeah, that's going to be the video for today, guys. I still don't have an outro, and see you guys later.